So it has been a while since I have put out any videos on my channel, and I thought before I start doing it again, we might as well do a shop tour, show y'all what all I have in this space. It's actually a one-car garage, so it's not very big, and I got quite a bit of tools in it, and they seem to work out pretty good for the stuff that I use them for. So anyhow, that being said, we're going to start over at this side and work our way all the way around the garage. And then if y'all have any questions concerning the layout or anything, y'all can just leave them down below. All right, we're going to start on this side. This is actually the back door to the garage that leads out to the backyard. And next to it, we have a clamp rack. It holds all the clamps I've got. Plus, there's a little bit of space just in case I add any to it, but works out pretty good. Then we got the table saw. This is a Porta-Cable table saw that you could get from Lowe's in the past. I don't think they carry this particular brand anymore. And then right now I've got my table saw sled on it. If you're trying to get some really good cuts, this seems to work out a lot better than the actual miter saw. So anyhow, we have the 2 horsepower dust collector from Harbor Freight, and we've got that plumbed to most of the tools in the shop, and we'll kind of go through that maybe after I'll show the layout of the shop. So right behind the table saw, I got my workbench and assembly table that I have added some tracks to it and a lift for my router. Then we have a wind joiner. Now, for the stuff I do, this works out pretty good. It's not a big joiner. It is an 8-inch joiner. So, you know, if you got something 8 inches or smaller, it'll handle that. Collection on it works pretty good. And then you have this cabinet that I got my sanders on. That's a 12-inch sander that you can get from Harbor Freight. Then we just got a little small wind sander that gets used very seldom, but when you need it, works pretty good. Then you got a 14-inch bandsaw. This is a Porta-Cable bandsaw that you could get from Lowe's. I think you can still get the same one, but it does good for what I use it for. Got a Craig fence on it. Then we got a Win 12-inch drill press with a laser for the hobbyist anyhow. It's really solid. And then I got my drill bits in a drawer down below it. And then you got a isolating spindle sander. It's actually a bench top that I've got put in the miter saw station. And then I got a spot for my drills and nail guns. And I got this storage up here for small parts. And I got my spray paint, some caulk, and other finishes. And then I got my miter saw. It's a Ryobi miter saw that really hadn't been happy with, but I mean, it does the job, but it's not really that good of a miter saw. Then you have the DeWalt 13-inch 735 planer, and the good thing about this is it is on some drawer slides, so when I need it, you can just pull it out from the cabinet, hook your dust collection to it. When you're done, you can push it right back up under there, and it's out of the way. I don't use it a lot, but when I do use it, it's really convenient for the way it's set up. So that's pretty much it for the layout of my shop. The next thing we'll do, we'll kind of look at the dust collection. I still got to do a little work to it, but it's hooked up, it's working really well, and kind of show y'all how I got mine situated. All right, so this is a 2 horsepower dust collector. I think it's a 35-gallon bag. You got the dust collector itself, and you come over to I believe it's a 30-gallon drum that I use for my separator, and then you come off of it. The tube that goes to the right is just for the table saw. Comes around here. It's got a homemade blast gate, and it comes down to the table saw. And I also use that same hose when I'm using my palm sander. Works really, really well for that. All right, and then you come off to the left, comes down the wall, splits off. You got a blast gate that goes to the sander, and you really don't want to use the sander without dust collection because it really puts off a lot of dust. And you come around the corner. I've got a flexible hose coming across this doorway because this is access just in case you have to take the washer or dryer out of the laundry room, there's not really enough room to go out the way you enter that room. So anyhow, we got a blast gate right here. This is a PowerTech blast gate. Seems to work pretty good and not get stopped up. You can get that off Amazon for about $8, I think. Then the hose comes around, and that blast gate is for this part of the dust collection. When you're using the planer and pull that planer out, I have a shop vac hose that plugs in here, goes to the planer. So far seems to work pretty good. If I do have a problem with it, I'll just upgrade that to some 4-inch hose that I have got left over when I was setting all this up. So if you're wondering about the separator on the dust collection, it collects the bigger particles that would typically go in the bag. That bag is kind of aggravating to take off and put back on. This also, I think, helps eliminate some of the dust that collects on the bag. That's a 1 micron bag that I bought from Amazon. I think the bag that comes with a unit from Harbor Freight is maybe a 5 micron, so that's a little bit of upgrade. Not sure how much that bag costed. I'll put it up on the screen. But anyhow, you can do this without going the route of buying the filter canister from Win. But this is a lot easier to change out when you got to change versus that bag. So anyhow, that's pretty much it for the dust collection. If y'all got any questions about it or the shop layout, just leave them down below. Thank y'all for watching.